healing. It's your soul sister Michaela, and this is My Life on Earth. Not his story, but her story. And today, guys, we are doing part 2 of the Spiritually Conscious and Awakening, the journey from the start. In the last video, I was telling you guys, I was basically leading you guys up to my actual spiritual awakening. And let's get back into that. So where we left off was me leaving Atlanta from my car accident and having to come home, and me and this guy started talking, and in the midst of me and this guy is talking, basically I'm like trying to find myself and really trying to like, not really, okay, pause. I don't want to say find myself because that's what I was already working on in general. I mean, like at this point I'm trying to figure out, okay, where do I go from now? Where do I restart from now as far as myself, and what do I see for myself, and, you know, dealing with, well, I won't say dealing with, going forward with everything that happened, and like where, like basically overall where I'm gonna go from here, you know, but still being very angry about how everything played out. So wanting to just basically, I'm not wanting to, but I was really angry about everything that happened, and just it was a really emotional and traumatic experience. So now it's like we're spiraling out of emotions on top of entering something different, but that being like a different experience. So let's get into that. I damn near gave you a whole breakdown just now. We got some tea real quick. Let me clear my, let me moisturize real fast. This is organically made tea, guys, by yours truly. This one is a digestive, circulatory, and congestion tea. So, yes. And we all know herbs are to what? They are to cleanse. Okay? They are to purge. Okay. When I say that situation was very impactful, I mean it was very impactful. So, like, it's like a point of death, kind of, where you're like, okay, everything around you feels like it's been stripped, or you strip away everything around you and like really just focus more inward on like, how do I really feel about everything and how it's playing out? You know, how am I looking at it? Could I look at it differently? Like, you know, like I said, spirituality and just like things of the unknown has always been like something that my family's always been intrigued in, and like, oh, I've always been around. So it's not like it wasn't nothing that it would be weird for me to think about. So I'm kind of like, you know, like who am I really? Like, you know, this is when I started thinking back to the first thing that I wanted to be when I was a child. So I'm like, okay, I'm doing some introspecting. You know, I'm really I'm gathering. I'm like, yo, I already work hard to get to where I'm at right now. So I can't just let myself go way back in the hole, you know, when I've already had growth and progress from, you know, the past. So it's like, now it's like, when it's like for me, it's just like a judgment moment. It's kind of like a point of death where you're like, okay, it's like the lowest I feel like I can go based on everything that's going on and how it played out, and just, you know, that's just for me. So in the midst of all that happening, how this correlates with being in my relationship, my new and current relationship. So now yes, we did get in a relationship. So we're just going to fast forward to how that correlates to all of this being my awakening, from the moment of, you know, going through all that, coming back, you know, experiencing that level of death, it feels like, and getting deep in thought on just what's going on, allowing my emotions serve its purpose, going through my little spiral moment, and then, but also taking what I've learned from the past and taking the growth that I had from the past. And now I feel like this relationship is like somewhere that I can apply that, as well as I applied it to myself. And who knew that this was going to be a whole different experience? I really feel like this relationship, like me getting in this relationship in general, was for me to experience a different type of love and nurturing that I needed in this point in my journey, when it came to me starting from where I was at in that point, if that makes sense. So we both are earth signs, right? And he is, I wouldn't say he's more of an earth sign, but like he was really in tune with nature and tapped in with earth. I would say more than I was, because like, don't get me wrong, I like to go outside, like to be at the house, but I really wasn't in nature. I really wasn't in tune with nature and like really connecting that much. I would be, we would go outside, and I was always the person to point out things and stuff like that, but like just really being and connecting, and then like also doing it with someone, so it's like a different type of energy. Yeah, like, so we did a lot of things when it came to nature and being in nature, and really experiencing that together. So that was like a whole different perspective for me. And I'm like, okay, he's an earth sign, I'm an earth sign. So this is when we're like really getting deep into like the thought of how all this is making sense, and how it's like all it's like showing itself to me. And I'm just like, okay, go with the flow. We're going with the flow. Okay, cool. Okay, so we have that, we're in our relationship, we're experiencing, I'm learning from him, I'm getting new perspectives, I'm experiencing a different type of love when it comes to relationships, different type of nurturing. We are growing, and we're experiencing, and we're healing through things together, aka twin flame. And it's just something that was just, it's like, I don't even have words to really describe it. That's how different it is for me. But to this day, I'm just like, wow. So let's get into really just when my awakening really started happening, and we're like putting stuff together now. We're like, okay. So I thought, like I said, I was like, what am I going to do now? What do I truly want to do? Because originally I went to college for fashion marketing and management. Fashion is something that's always been my one love. I really like marketing. I like business. I like the whole business aspect of life in general. So I'm like, so let's take these two and let's put it together, right? Why not? So that was something that was really my main focus. And I'm like, okay, so what do I really want to focus on now? Like, what do I really love? What is it that I really want to do? And I just remembered the first thing that I wanted to be when I was a kid. And the first thing I wanted to be when I was a kid was a doctor. And well, we actually looked up the etymology of behind my name actually means God, but my mom said in the Bible, or like in some type of way in that form, my name means healer, or like servant of God. So it's like, you feel what I'm saying? So between that, me actually healing physically when I was a child, and starting to realize, growing up, being around people and understanding, and actually having people like actually tell me that, like, I really understand them, and I actually help them through what's going on and different stuff like that. It's like, okay, light bulb here. And I'm like, okay, I'm feeling it, but I'm like, just based on how things are set up, I'm not gonna go too deep into that. So I'm just like, do I really want to be a doctor? But then I thought about it, I'm like, healer, right? And that really just hit me. Like, I'm like, healer, okay, cool. So I'm thinking, okay, something along the lines. So we go from that into really just like, now we're doing research, and we're reading. That's when I started reading books. And I've always been into astrology since I was like younger. I would be first person we in class, and I'm just like, so what's your zodiac sign? Like I was that person. So I've always been to that stuff. So I just like really just got more into research and just trying to find out things and understand how things are going. Being that we was going outside and we were connected with nature a lot, so I geared towards more of nature, and I connected more with nature and just the healing aspect. So one thing that really caught my eye was herbs, as you guys can see right here. Okay, I don't have to put my hand. Herbs. That was good. That was a good one. So as you guys can see, I do have herbs. That's something that really drew to me, because it's something that can heal the body. It's from the earth. It's connected. It is a form of medicine. Like, okay. So guys, in the midst of all of this happening, we're finding out more knowledge. I am eating healthier at this point. I'm like 2 years into my my weight loss journey. I'm 2 years into my weight loss journey, and like I said, I kind of had that spiraling moment. So that means we might have put on a little extra weight, but it's okay. We're not gonna judge. You know what I'm saying? And picked up a couple bad habits along the way. And because when I first met my boyfriend, I'm just gonna keep it 1K with y'all. You know what I'm saying? He was a litter bug, and I'm like, babe, you're really connected to nature and you really feel it. So like maybe you shouldn't throw trash outside. And when I grew up, I was taught not to litter. So that's not something I did. Like she would stop the car and make you go get it type. But being around him, it was like, okay, I kind of pick up that habit a little bit because I got his idea behind of why he would do it. But it was just like, no, based on, I'm like, you're way too connected. Like at this point, this is disrespect. It's disrespect all the way around. But like, what we doing here? You know, we're just going through the introspecting and really like actualizing things around us and connecting it, not just on a spiritual level, but bringing it in on a physical level into like the overall, not just our health, but the earth's health, you know, our environment's health, the people around us. We have, you know, pets and different stuff like that. So now we're just getting deep into it, thinking about all type of stuff. So in the midst of all of this happening, I actually got my first reading, in-person reading, in October of 2020. I never forget it. You know, we was at the flea market actually in Colombia, and they had like, you know, that was my first time ever being there because I never really been to Colombia, but I've definitely never been to the flea market. So, you know, we're getting a reading. And so we walk up to do, you know, at this time, like you see, I'm intrigued and I'm like trying to find, my favorite word since I was a kid was information. So I'm all down for learning something new, getting some new perspectives and anything that seems, you know, out of the norm or just mystical. So I'm like, okay, what we doing here? So I'm like, at this point, I'm feeling it out and I'm connecting with my intuition and I'm really connecting with my divine feminine is something that was really, really important for me in the beginning of my weight loss journey, in the beginning of my spirituality as well. So I'm using I already see he got his little setup going and he really interacting with people. So I already felt the vibe from afar. So I'm like, okay, I know I want to read it. Y'all come on, let's get a reading. I was talking to my brother, my boyfriend, and my sister wasn't there, but then she ended up coming over. But I'm like, yo, let's go get a reading or whatever. So he did. I'm like, my brother go first or whatever like that. So I'm just, because I'm sitting back, I'm trying to read the energy and fill out the vibe. So I'm like, all right, I told my brother go first or whatever. So I'm just filling everything out. And then I go second. And so he starts shuffling the cards, whatever. So, you know, you sit in, you like anticipation. You're listening and he just like, so how do you like being a witch? So me and my brother just look at each other because we literally, did I start this shit? We literally looked at each other like, where did that come from? Like, that was very interesting. And I'm like, okay, whoa. So at this point, you know, in the beginning, you're just having things come at you. You're like, okay, we're processing, we're learning what's going on. But let's get deep into what he really said. He was like, how do you like being a witch? And I'm just like, I mean, it's pretty, so it's okay, I guess, you know. And he was just like, you know, you used to see spirits a lot when you were younger. You could really feel other people's like feelings and their pain really deeply. You feel everything around you really deeply. Like he really just started going into detail and I'm just like, yeah, like this is very accurate. I'm listening. Continue. So he just really started getting in tune with that. And then like, you know, it was really good reading. And then I just got his number after that. So like, you know, he does personal readings and different stuff like that. But that was my first experience having a personal reading. But you guys, other than me really drawing to really wanting to heal and more of like the medicine woman and herbalist side, living holistically overall for your wellness, I was like, okay, because I know that is something I really want to do. Because I mean, like, you can't heal people unless you really heal them from the inside out all the way around, right? Other than me getting intrigued in that and, you know, me doing research and having my first reading, me, like I said, connected to my divine feminine waist beads is something that really became like eye-opening for me because I did a little bit of research on them and I felt like, you know, just to put it on, like you really have to embody that energy. Like if you have waist beads, you know, like you having it on isn't just like, okay, I put something on, it's on. You feel that energy, like you stand with poise, you really embody that energy and you like, because I mean, at the end of the day, this is something that's like, it's like a resemblance of energy. So are you gonna present that any type of way? No, but I'm going to show you guys what mine look like. These are just some ones I got on now, you guys. I done had a custom one before. 2 of them already popped. 1 dropped. Like, this is literally, I'm probably a year and a couple months in now, yeah. Because in the beginning of this year, probably like, I think it was August. July, August, I was in 10, 11 months. So yeah, it's about a year now. I've been on my weight speed journey, so that's exciting. Oh, let's fast forward to 2021, guys. This year, like I said, all that stuff, I've been really working on that, because when I started, like getting weight speeds and all that stuff was around August and September, because me and him, we met in August. We actually started dating in July of 2019. So from that point forward is when like everything started. I got the herbs like in August of that year. Like we just started spreading it out, like different things. And just as I resonated with it is when I, started indulging in it. So from that point, let's fast forward to this year. Y'all, went to my first crystal shop. Because from that point, I'm like, okay, crystals is something that really drew to me. And then like certain ones will pop up. I'm like, okay, I'm really feeling like I'm ready to go to a crystal shop. And once again, I went with my brother and my boyfriend, and we went to this crystal shop downtown. And we went in, guys. Their prices was actually pretty cool. You could tell they had their crystals was really well sourced, and they were really high quality. And it wasn't like the vibe in there was good. It wasn't like people just trying to make $1. You could tell that whoever set up the shop really was intrigued in that, because they also had like artifacts, and they had like dinosaur bones and different things that you can look at inside of the shop. So, the way I always do everything, I go with will resonate with me. So I'm picking out crystals and that call to me, and I'm like, if I don't already know what the crystal, like what energy it embodies, if I already don't know the physical properties, the energy it embodies, or any characteristics about it, I would let that crystal draw to me, and then I would look up the meaning. After I would look up what the crystal means, I would, just, okay, cool. It just really confirmed even more. And I'm like, okay, yes, I need that right now in my life, because they're going to come to you in your life whenever you need them at a specific time. You'll learn that over time. And yes, guys, just to share a little experience with crystals while we were already on it. I have had my crystals vibrate, and I've had them send me frequencies. They have literally protect me physically. Like this is not something that's just like, oh, I just want to look at them and they're pretty. Like I just encourage everybody to do their own research, because like I said, everything is going to resonate to people differently, because everybody's journey is different. So, I don't want to just be like, da 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 da, and that's not something you're ready for. So if crystals is something that draw to you, do more research in it. Always go towards the crystals that come towards you first, because that's the ones you need in your life at the time. I don't got the crystals, at this point I'm going through life, the pandemic has started, different things is going on. I'm having a lot of ascension at this time, awakenings, like out of body experiences is the best way I can experience this. Like I'm talking with my eyes open and my eyes closed, like just different things that's going on at this time. These are events and experiences that just like flow. Like I could just daydream off, and then like a whole situation I'm like going through, or I have a certain type of dream when I go to sleep. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm astral projecting, like different stuff like that. I'm getting messages and downloads when I go to sleep, when I'm awake. Like at this point, everything is just like overload coming in. I'm like, okay, process. And I'm like, okay, candles is something that I also connected with really early on. So like I said, it just depends on you, because candles have meanings, the different, types of candles, the colors, they all have energetic signatures and meaning into it. Everything is detailed. It's just like spirituality is like thinking about life, actually thinking about life, like as you were a kid, you would be like, what is this? I wonder what it does. What is the connection? Like you're more pure into finding things out, and not so much on what you were taught, what you were told, and what's already instilled. And this is the way of life that you already got to go by. You see what I'm saying? So candles is something I was really connected to as well. So at this time, I'm just like, okay, all the gadgets and everything is cool, but like actually having these out of body experiences and, channeling energies, I literally I'm a psychic medium, so I channel energy from loved ones or other people, and sometimes relay messages, or I, just have conversations, or like really just interact with different spirits, to put it like that. So I've actually channeled a message for my mom from her grandfather that was, I guess really, he really adored her, really loved her, whatever the case may be. So that's just an example of that. So from this time going through all this, at this point, I'm just focused on my inner peace, because I already got a lot I'm trying to channel between, actually balancing, your life on top of this is now my life, and incorporating them two together for them to, find that equal harmony and balance, and to, now living in purpose and different stuff like that. So at this point, I'm just trying to focus on inner peace, guidance from others, and moving by my intuition and really trusting my intuition, because that's something that I've always been keen on since I was younger. Like, ooh, I know. And if I don't know something, best believe I'm always going to find out, no matter which way, shape, or form. I will know, I will find out. You can never hide anything from me. Like, basically searching deeper, I'm like disconnecting from social media. I'm not on social media. I was like, there was a time period I really just went ghost. Like, because I'm at this point, you're seeing everything for what it really is. So now you're like, you go through this point where you're like, it's a dark point where you really got to deal with everything. You're like, am I going crazy? Like, is everything really what it's panning out to be? Like, is this, you start really seeing what's going on, not just living or being a part of, you're not just being a part of the world and what's going on. You want to start living now, and you're feeling more in depth, and everything is a little bit, your senses are heightened, you're more connected, you're more in tune, things you can't unknow, you go through just your periods of once learning the truth, and the truth hurts more than the lies. So you're like, okay, processing all this and everything that's going on, all that is not just, the aesthetic, and not just, wearing the jewelry. Like, everything you do, you need to do it with intention. When you light a candle, you need to do it with intention. When you wear necklaces, you need to do it with intention. When you wear any type of crystals or oils, anything, do it with intention. Don't just do things to do it. When you meditate with intention. It's just like when you go to work with your intention to make some money, right? Same concept. I'll tell you guys a little story that happened to me as well. A part of, I don't even know how to describe it, guys. I am 22 years old. At that point, I was 21, and I had my very first nosebleed. My nose has never bled when I was a child, ever. And when I got surgery on my nose didn't even bleed after the surgery, for real. Like, after that first day when, after everything happened, that was it. So, like, that was something that was really shocking for me. Like, it was really dripping and it was really coming out. And, like, it happened so fast. I know I was thinking about something. I think that's what else I was going to tell you about. I think I just got finished watching a reading. So I'm like, okay, I'm already in my process thinking about stuff. And I literally, guys, was just sitting there. I went to grab something. I turned back around and my nose was leaking. And then I don't even know how, like, the way it played out. Like, my mom literally appeared out of nowhere to, like, help assist me with my nose. And then it was just, like, so nurturing and stuff. And I'm just like, as she's doing that, I'm like looking, and like my third eye is literally like pulsating, like radiating. It's kind of like it's emitting a certain type of frequency on top of, like, I feel it literally vibrating and like pulsating, like move, like going through this motion as my nose bleeds. So I'm just like, and I'm looking like, wow, this is really happening. Like, my nose has never bled before. And she's trying to help me. She's like, put your head back. I don't know. I never had my nose bleed. Even though my sisters used to have nosebleeds, I wasn't thinking at the time, like, oh, let me put my nose back. So I'm like, oh, when she said, I'm just like I said, I'm the type of person, like, just like, I don't know. It's like, I was really shocked, like, wow, like, my nose bleeding, like, my nose never bled. Like, it was just like the car accident, like, wow, I really feel hurt. Like, this has never happened to me before. Like, what is going on right now? Like, is this really happening? So I'm holding my nose is like leaking, and that was just an experience for me. And I'm like, I remember that day was just like already like really interesting. I think I had like one of the out of body experiences in the car on the way to the store early that day. I really feel like that was that day. But that experience was a lot, like, in general, with just the energy around me. But the way it played out, that one I actually had my eyes closed though. And it actually started off from a prayer that I was having that just got really deep into, like, I literally just had an out-of-body experience. And later that day, I ended up having a nosebleed. And, yeah, those are the different things you'll go through, It's not just meditation and yoga and, not just going outside and grounding. Like, it's really a lot of stuff going on when you go through transitions. Being attacked spiritually, you know what I'm saying? Like, the more you come in tune with yourself, negative entities are going to draw to you, because it's like, oh, we already want you, because we already know, we already feel that energy, and we want to harvest that energy and use that energy that you have for our benefit. But now you like come into it, and now you becoming more of a powerful being. Like, well, we can't have that. You deal with that in the physical manifestation of actually dealing with, you know, entities disguised as people walking around, or like actual just physical energy. Something that I also started to get into after having the in-person reading, I have him talking about, okay, this stuff is really interesting. But I realized that, like, even when it comes to like craft work, like witchcraft and craft work, and what I would call my work, I never, like, in the beginning, I always told myself, like, I'm not like subscribing to any type of religion or subscribing to any set of principles at the moment, because my message to me was to create my own magic. I am the alchemist. You feel what I'm saying? I am a creator. So it's like, okay, so just to let you know, that's just something to add on to that. But when it comes to readings and different things like that, that was something that was starting to become new to social media. Because like I said, as I'm clearing out social media, I'm not really interacting with it. You know, I try to add a little bit. I try to incorporate that a little bit. So that's something I would see more if I, you know, was to go on social media. And just seeing different things, I'm like, okay, people actually do readings on YouTube. I didn't know that. So I started watching readings in the beginning of this year, like March of 2021, I believe it was March. I started watching readings. So it hasn't been like super long, but, and I don't watch it all the time. I don't just be like, I don't wake up and be like, let me watch a reading for today. I let, like I said, I go with the flow. I let it resonate. If I get a notification, I look at it, you know, the time may be right, or, and then even if I see it then, I might not watch it then, but I know I need to watch that specific video because it's something that I need to hear in that. And like I said, I get a lot of my messages and my downloads through hearing actual frequencies and sounds, and, you know, voices and messages through other people, you know, from spirit itself, ancestors. I always get my messages that way. So it's like, okay, that's something that's like been life-changing. Though I've had readings that has honestly been life-changing for me. Like, you don't even understand. Like, that's something that's like, I can't even explain that to y'all. But like I said, don't just be, you know, and always go with what resonate with you, because everybody's not going to resonate with you. The way everybody do it might not resonate with you. It just, whatever you feel intuitively, that's what you need to go with on this journey, because only you know what's best for you. Truly. Social media was a dub. You see what I'm saying? At this point, I'm really removing stuff. Like, we're just, you getting the momentum that I'm feeling right now, that I'm trying to give y'all. Like, you know, you just go through the journey, you're learning, you getting connected. It's just like as a kid, you realize what you like, what food you like, what food you don't like. I'm literally changing foods from what I did like, what I didn't like, losing dramatic amounts of weight because of my lifestyle, working out and eating healthier, you know, not eating meat, having a plant-based diet, like, really trying to incorporate my mental and my spiritual wellness, as well as my physical wellness. So we're doing all this, you know what I'm saying, being a banging girlfriend, being nurturing, and being that divine feminine that is to, you know, assist and be a part of a team. We cutting friends off. And this is this 2021? Honestly, this was 2020, y'all. Pause. This was 2020, like, cutting friends off. I went down to like not talking to anyone. My friends from college, my friends from high school that I was still cool with at the moment, you know, as we already was growing. But I just literally cut it down to not talking to nobody, because I know I needed to take more time to introspect and really think and work on myself. And I noticed that anytime I was around friends, I was always giving out large amounts of energy and always assisting and always helping. And you know, that's just, that come naturally, because it's just that healing aspect to it. That's just what happens, you know. So I'm like, okay, if I be around too many people, I notice that I'm always going to feel like I'm giving out energy and I'm not doing what I really know I should be doing or want to do at that moment. I know I have a soul tribe, and I know that's going to come, but I have to allow it to come to me. Because to jump back on my relationship that I'm currently in, y'all, I literally told myself, like I said, I'm not going to look for nothing. I'm not about to chase. I didn't do that anyway, but we definitely not about to do that now just because we in college or just because you feeling a little lonely. That's cool because you need to be alone. So I'm like, we're going to go through that, but I'm not going, if it come and it's the right thing, then I'm going to accept it or I'm going to play it out the way it's going to play out. And it literally came to me. Everything that I didn't have in my last relationship or everything that I felt like I needed or I wanted or the things I didn't know I needed or I wanted, here it was. Presented to me. So it's like, focus on yourself, go inward, set the intention, speak it out in the universe, and boom. So at this point, I'm just like, I'm focused on my relationship, I'm focused on myself, I'm focused on my life, my growth, and we are building together. This is not something that's just like, oh, we're actually trying to build together and start and create a life together, because we're at a point where it's like, okay, honestly, you're going to be doing introspection, and you're going to be growing your whole life. So are you going to just always put that to the side? And everybody's journey and path is different. So like I said, keep that in mind. Just to start up to the point where I really couldn't eat meat no more. And this was in 2020. I'm not really sure the time. But I remember the last time I was like, okay, when I really like first started this journey and wanting to be vegan, I'm like, okay, I'm going to try veganism. I literally was I ain't going to say the restaurant. Because I ain't got time. But I was at a restaurant and I was eating something. It was chicken. And I threw up. And the way it tastes and the way it feels, like I never forget that taste and the way it just was going on in there. And I never ate chicken ever again after that. That was just something that was really a bad experience. And chicken is something that I really, 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 really used to love a lot. So it's like I'm gonna keep it real. I ain't that type of person, you know what I'm saying? Like throughout my journey from stop eating meat in 2020 to up until now, to be in 2021, we about to get on the end of the year. Like I've backslid a little bit on, eating like cheese and stuff like that, but I'm not gonna sit here and just drink no milk and nothing like that. But you see how they all correlate. You can't really like say you don't do this, but you can do that. I mean, you can, but I personally just don't want anything animal or animal byproducts at all. That's just me personally. So that's something that I'm working on right now. But as far as when it comes to certain things that I used to really, really like, and I got to a point where like, I'm talking like, you go to the gas station, I'm giving me something to drink, get some little snack real quick. I didn't even think about going in that section. Like that wasn't even a thought for me. You see what I'm saying? Grab my water, get what I need to get, and let me get up out the store. You feel what I'm saying? So it just, like I said, it's a journey. You'll go through the ups and downs. If you haven't watched my transitioning healthy lifestyle tips video, because that gives you good tips on really transitioning lifestyles and dealing with the maneuvering realistically on changing your whole lifestyle. But other than that, at this time, I'm not even eating foods I used to like. I'm eating stuff that I didn't used to like. What is going on? Relationship, we're growing, we're really experiencing and healing together. I'm still continuing healing myself. I got my birth control taken out in 2020 around like July, June-ish. And like I said, this is all, it's just like, the reason why I'm just saying it the way I'm explaining the story, because it's like, it's not something that's just like, oh, let me tell you in duck row what happened. But it's like things played out the way it played out along my journey. That's just the way my journey played out. You see what I'm saying? So I'm just telling it to you guys like that because that's the best way to explain it. And I don't want to make sure I leave that out. But anyway, yes, me really trying to connect with my divine feminine. I didn't have a period, guys, for 6 years. I was on birth control for 6 years. From I think the end of middle school or the beginning of high school until up to 2020. So, and it was already due to get taken out anyway, but I got it taken out a year early. Yeah, I got it taken out a year early, a couple months early. So I'm just like, I don't want that in my body anymore. I want to be natural. I want my body to really function in its natural state and how it's supposed to maneuver. So I'm like, okay, that's something that needs to get removed. So me and my boyfriend go and do that. So guys, it's been like basically a year now, because that was around and then I actually started regulating my body again around September of last year. So I got it taken out last year and my body started regulating last year. And here we are this year, going strong, continue to heal and grow. You guys, don't let nobody tell you can't heal yourself, okay? Because you need to be in tune with yourself and your body. Remember that. So that's something that was really a journey. And like I said, just having my boyfriend there to be supportive and to really be nurturing. That's something that, like I said, I knew that was meant to be a part of my journey, just based on the way everything. I'm going through my trials. I'm going through my tests. You know, I'm going through these obstacles. What can I learn from it? Why is this playing out the way it's playing out? What is my perspective? Just learning as much as I can, getting deeper, because it's just like everything continues to go on and on and on and on because of how far gone we have gotten from our true history and the past and the truth, the real truth on the real way of life. So at this point, it's just going to be an ongoing journey until you really get that. And that's just where I'm at right now, guys. So, you know, we're starting to see the Matrix glitch a little bit. So I'm saying, you know, like, just to give you guys an example, like, I don't know if anybody have had any experiences like this. If you have, let me know. But like, you know, I've seen cars literally glitch. I literally seen a car come out of a parking lot. We had a gas station. I'm at the pump. Car come out, the car wash, drive off, literally look down, look back up. That same exact car is driving past me again. Like, if anybody's ever seen random things like this where you're like, that's not making any sense. And then I see it one more time. I'm like, okay, so am I tripping? Am I the only one seeing this? Like, I don't think this is supposed to be happening like this. But then, you know, like I said, people are starting to share their experiences and shedding light on their spiritual journey and just how it's happening for them. And then getting, you know, depending on what your calling is, them getting the urge to, like, you know, share that with people and really help people and guide people, whatever the case may be. So I'm listening, I'm hearing other people experience. So I'm like, okay, I'm not the only one going through this. Like, this is like, you know, we all are going through a shift as a collective. So there's things that's always constantly changing and shifting and influencing your day-to-day life. So please be aware of that. Something that also started hitting really early on, I don't really remember when this really started, but I know it was last year, was seeing synchronicities. When it first started, you're like, okay, dang. And then you realize, like, wow, this has always been around you, but you just was never in tune. You wasn't connected, so that you wasn't going to get any messages. You wasn't getting no frequencies, because numbers hold energetic energy just like everything else. So it's like, okay, but basically the number being doubled or tripled is just the same energy of that number, just multiplied or tripled. You see what I'm saying? So I started off seeing synchronicities in set of threes, you know, 222, 333, 777, 888, you know what I'm saying? 999, 1111, 1212, 1010. So I went from seeing the three digit angel numbers to seeing 2-digit angel numbers. And then starting to see numbers in a different form, like 411, 369, 411. My boyfriend sees 123 a lot. Like just different numbers like that. It's like it go through different phases, because you'll realize when you see the double numbers, it's the same concept. You see what I'm saying? Like energetically, you'll know when you see it. That's just the best way I can explain it. As you learn the meaning and the energy behind these numbers, you put it together. You're not just looking at the angel number and you're not just looking at the synchronicities and you're like, oh, I got a number. The angels have sent me a number. My ancestors are connecting with me. But what are they saying though? What was you thinking? What were you doing? What were you saying? What were you about to do? What do you have planned that they sent that specific number at that time? Because when you put that together, that's a whole conversation, baby. Let me be the first one to tell you. I don't know if I'm the first person, but let me tell you right now. If you get a number and you were just thinking about something, and energetically that number is a response or outlook or perspective on something you was thinking, it's like it sometimes it play out to like it's having a like you're having a conversation, literally. It's like, or a confirmation. You like, you know, you'd be like, is it hot outside? Somebody like, yeah. It's like that vibe. I would say a while ago, probably like a few months ago, me and my boyfriend actually got shot at. So for me, that was like part 2 for the near-death experience. And not saying I already, because I personally feel like I did die, but not saying that I don't feel like I already did, but it's like, or get to that point where it's like I pushed myself through the threshold. It's like, that was something I was just like, okay, another version of entities or just negative energies or vibration being sent your way or negatively trying to impact you. And I'm not going to talk about that right now because that is something that's still an ongoing case. However, I will be doing a video about that in the near future because that is my life and that is something I experienced and have the right to tell because I went through it. But other than that, yes, that's something that has happened. So that's something that, and from that moment, you know, there's been, which was like a tower moment, we would call it. There's been moments that, you know, like that started changing the light onto what we need to be focused on, because it was me and my boyfriend was together. Like, we was having fun. We was experiencing life. We was traveling together the first year. You know what I'm saying? Like 2020, we was traveling. We was chilling. We was having fun. Like he flew out, my sister from college. She came down. Like, I was having fun with that's when I was still having, you know, being around friends and stuff like that, but still being intrigued with these things and saying stuff up until the point where I decided I wanted to distance myself from everyone based on just different things. And just honestly, you know, like I said, just keeping kind of reserving my energy at that time while I'm trying to love and nurture myself. So that was just something that was a tower moment. And just leading up to now, you know, there's different things happening, but my perspective on life is different. You know, I understand that things are going to happen when things are going to happen in divine timing, divine intervention. All of that is real and it's happened. And we recently had a car accident. I recently had a car accident. So, you know, that was part 2 for me on that. And, you know, just the way it played out, my intuition, the way I felt that day. Like I said, it's important. It's a journey and you're going to learn and you're going to go through tests. You're going to go through trials to trust yourself and to align yourself with what you truly, what's truly for you. That's just where I'm at right now, guys. You know, I'm just living life. I'm taking it in day by day. You know, I don't even really care. Like, I love fashion and stuff like that, but like, you know, I lost so much weight, so I didn't even have that much clothes left over. So right now I'm just, you know, I'm just going with the flow. You know, if you're looking for some inspo, you know, I'm always on here on tune on time. You ain't even got to ask about that. But as far as, you know, that's not something that's really in the main focus of my mind. Like right now, I'm just expanding on wanting to garden and really just create and birth, you know, medicine and food and nutrients for my body and those around me, help heal and nurture those around me in the collective. Like, you know, I want to give back, you know, being an entrepreneur, different things like that. That's really what I'm focused on right now, guys, and aligning myself for what's already mine, because it is. And I just encourage everybody to really just, you know, your path is just you. I always knew since I was younger that, you know, religion didn't really connect with me. But like I said, everybody's different. A lot of people go on this spiritual journey and they do gear towards religion. And it's just like, it's just it's your outlook on it. At the end of the day, like I said, the truth is what the truth is, and you can't hide from that. But religion it wasn't something that never really drew to me, but it's something that I was always intrigued on, and there was questions that I had. So now that I have the answers to those questions, and, you know, things are continuously unfolding, you know, right now Mother Earth is purging. You know, we are in the year 2021, but we are really in the year of 2012, you guys. And I just encourage everybody to do their research on the truth, the history of you, where you come from, who you really are, getting in tune with yourself, connecting to source, whatever that may be for you, and working on introspection, dealing with past traumas and inner healing and inner peace, because it's a journey and it ain't painted pretty and it don't already come with instructions, and everybody one is not the same. So I really, really, really want to stress that. If you're a spiritual being having a human experience and you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please be sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you're notified anytime I post a video. Please like, comment, and share with a friend. This is naturally me. Like, take it or leave it, guys. Like, I'm learning more and more about myself every day. I am a life path number 5, so I constantly change. Right now, I've literally gotten a tattoo and a piercing since 2017, like every year since 2017. So it's 2021 and we're in October, and I haven't yet got another piercing and tattoo. So I'm just sharing that with y'all because, like, there's so much more changes to come. Like, there's so much more to work. There's so much that I'm working on. There's so much that I want to share with the world, that I'm birthing, that I'm creating. And I just encourage everybody to just look inward, stay positive as much as possible, do the work, do the shadow work, do the healing. It's an ongoing journey. It doesn't stop at one stop. Everybody's journey is different. And I just want to shed a little bit light on me, my life, and where I, kind of where I'm coming from, where I come from, how my perspective is on this, how my perspective is on spirituality and awakening, and sharing experiences on my spirituality and my awakening. And that is it for today's video. And I have so much more I want to share with you guys now that we've gotten this part out the way and you guys are up to date on just a little bit more of what I've experienced and what I got going on, and just basically what I wanted to work on and how I got into my very first spiritual awakening. Certain things that I'm intrigued on now, and let's just say I'm working on more now, when it comes to, like I said, craft work. That everybody, if when it comes to witchcraft, there's so much under the umbrella. There's so much that you can do. There's so much that is, and I'm constantly learning and growing every day. I feel like I got so much to do right now. I'm just playing, guys. Peace and healing, guys, and I wish everybody nothing but wisdom and unconditional love along their journey. See you guys next time.